So you rejoin me for the finale as we remove the part painted bowl from its wonderful custom rig. Here you can see it's drying beautifully even red. Actually, if you look closely, well, you can't really see, but there's some defects in there, which we will be correcting, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, so first thing you've got to do is take that bit of string you had off. Just simply unpick that hot glue. It peels off really easily with there you go, it peels off. Wonderful. Keep doing that, get rid of the string. Now you got rid of that, you can carefully choose a colour. I carefully choose blue and silver because they're closest. So that's a Dyna blue and a metallic silver. We're going to pour paint those with stripy paint. So you need to balance the pot upside down. I use whatever comes to hand. You can see that little cup and a silicone thing. Anyway, there you go, ta-da, it's working. Get a cup. I reuse old cups, but make sure there's no loose paint in them. So this is really complicated. Squirt some silver paint in there. Then we're going to squirt some blue paint in there. Normally, you saw how thick I mixed it for the inside. I actually tend to water them down a bit for the outside, so they flow better. But if you don't want to do that, don't bother. You'll just find it a bit more gloopy. So stripe of this, stripe of that, stripe of this, stripe of that. Mix more paint than you think. That's, smallish cup. You can see I'm going to fill it about half full. Paint will drip off the top of this. It's important you allow it to do that. You need more paint than you think to cover just the concrete bowl. You'll see why later. Oh, careful not to tip your cups over. I ended up with that much paint in that sort of size cup. It varies depending on the size of your bowl, obviously. You pour your stripy paint. Now grab yourself a lolly stick. Again, I reuse these, just make sure the paint doesn't fall off. Cut some little crosses in there, scrub it up. You want wiggly stripy paint. Well, you can want whatever you want really, but I do wiggly stripy paint. Once I've got that, you pour it on. Again, really important technique. I usually tip the cup over and pour it, wiggle it round a bit like that to spread it around. Obviously it flows, so if you leave some gaps, doesn't matter too much. You will go around and fill them up. I said about lots of paint. That's important because however clever you are with this, you're going to miss some bits, or there's going to be bits where the paint flows around them. And that lollipop stick you saw earlier, that wooden stick thing, we're going to use that to fill those gaps. So here you can see my first pour. One thing, you'll always cover the bit closest to you, as you can see, and the bits around the side here, and also around the back, you need to stand up and look over the back a bit, just to make sure you're covering them, because you're going to get big gaps otherwise. This first there, thank you, look over the back. Yeah. So try to get a nice even coverage to begin with. You see how those holes at the top are all kind of filled in now? Right. I've emptied my tub, so I get my stick. Scrape it off the surface where it's dripping. Do this on top of plastic or glass. I use glass, I can. Old TV shelf actually. Now just use your stick to cover over those gaps. Can you see why we need to make a lot more paint than we thought? We want these drips, we need them, we capture them. And of course, afterwards you can scrape them off the glass to make nice jewellery skins. Anyway, go around there covering all the bits and pieces. Take your time when you're doing this. Make sure you cover everything. It really does make a difference. It makes it so much better the end result. Go around here, take your time. Once you're happy it's covered, you think, yeah, everything's there. Grab yourself a blowtorch, or whatever torch you got, and get rid of the bubbles. As you can imagine, the concrete's quite rough, so you get lots of bubbles in there. Quick blast round, and then just leave it to dry. Oh, different t-shirt, so it must be the next day. Yeah, now the bowl's touch dry, so I'm going around filling in any gaps. You'll see little bits of concrete showing through where it hasn't quite got in. Notice that I'm scraping off the glass surface. That drips of paint is still soft in my case, so don't leave it too many days before you do this. And when you're doing it, you're not painting, you're actually kind of putting the paint onto the concrete. You want to pay particular attention to the edges and the top edge in particular. So I always paint that the exterior colour. It forms like a definition layer, and also having a thicker lip there makes it stronger, less likely to crumble when people touch it. So that's exterior done. Right, now have another look at the interior. So grab a fresh brush, don't want to mix your paints. Look around, there's going to be some little pinpricks. I mentioned those earlier, little holes. You can't really see them on the camera, but you can see them in real life. So make sure you get the right colour paint. We've got two different colour reds here. It wasn't that one I used, it was definitely that one. Get that, and we're going to touch up the interior. Little splotch of paint on the glass, fine brush. The interior faults tend to be little pinprick holes and bubbles that have popped since you tried to blast them with a blowtorch. So spend some time looking at it, concentrate on what you're doing, and get rid of every little mark. Look at that, face of concentration. Yeah, every little pinprick needs filling. There we are, final inspection. It all looks good. Okay, let's put that to one side. While we let that one dry, I'll give you a quick look at this one. Different colour scheme, so this one's got a dark exterior and that electric blue interior. I really like that. That's actually the same blue I used on the silver and blue for the one in the background. Nice and shiny, I like that one. And here's the end result. Hopefully you like what you see, nice contrasting colours, do what you like. Experiment with different contrasts and colours. Hope you enjoyed it, thanks. Oh, like, subscribe and all that crap. Cheers!